Hello everyone, got 5 dirty jokes for you today. So a United States Marine was deployed to Afghanistan. While he was there, he received a Dear John letter from his girlfriend. In the letter, she explained that she had slept with 2 guys while he had been gone and she wanted to break up with him. To add injury to the insult, she said she wanted back the picture of herself that she had given him. So the Marine did what any squared-away Marine would do. He went around to his buddies and collected all the unwanted photos of women he could find. In all, he got more than 25 pictures of various women, some with clothes and some without. He then mailed them to his now former girlfriend with the following note: "I don't remember which one you are. Please remove your picture and send the rest back." So a filthy rich Florida man decided that he wanted to throw a party and invited all of his buddies and neighbors. He also invited Leroy, the only redneck in the neighborhood. He held the party around the pool in the backyard of his mansion. Leroy was having a good time drinking, dancing, eating shrimp, oysters, and BBQ and flirting with all the women. At the height of the party, the host said, "I have a 10-foot man-eating gator in my pool and I'll give $1 million to anyone who has the nerve to jump in." The words were barely out of his mouth when there was a loud splash. Everyone turned around and saw Leroy in the pool. Leroy was fighting the gator and kicking its rear. Leroy was jabbing it in the eyes with his thumbs, throwing punches, headbutts, and chokeholds, biting the gator on the tail and flipping it through the air like some kind of judo instructor. The water was churning and splashing everywhere. Both Leroy and the gator were screaming and raising heck. Finally, Leroy strangled the gator and let it float to the top like a dime store goldfish. Leroy then slowly climbed out of the pool. Everybody was just staring at him in disbelief. Finally, the host says, "Well, Leroy, I reckon I owe you $1 million. No, that's okay." "I don't want it," said Leroy. The rich man said, "Man, I have to give you something. You won the bet. How about $500,000 then?" "No thanks, I don't want it," answered Leroy. The host said, "Come on, I insist on giving you something." That was amazing. "How about a new Porsche and a Rolex and some stock options?" Again Leroy said no. Confused, the rich man asked, "Well, Leroy, then what do you want?" "I want the name of the bastard that pushed me in the pool." So an old Jewish man walks into a bar and sits down. He has a few drinks, looks around him, and suddenly freezes when he sees a Chinese man. He gets up and punches him in the face. Ouch! The Chinese man cries, holding his nose. What was that for? That was for Pearl Harbor. The Jewish man says, "But I'm Chinese." "Chinese, Japanese, what's the difference?" growls the old man as he turns and sits back down. A few seconds later, the Chinese man walks up to the Jewish man and punches him in the face. Ouch! The Jewish man cries, holding his nose. What was that for? That was for the Titanic. The Chinese man says, "But that was an iceberg." Iceberg, Goldberg, what's the difference? So one day an old man wrote a letter to God and tied the letter to a tree outside a church. The priest came and took down the letter. It read, "Please God, I'm a poor man, please send me $100,000 so I can pay my debts and live peacefully." Being a kind priest, he took donations around town for the old man and raised $5,000. He put it in an envelope and wrote on it from God and left it next to the tree when he saw the old man come visit again. The next day, The old man came back and tied another letter to the tree. The priest then came and took down the letter and read it excitedly. "Dear God, thank you for sending me the money. Next time, please send it to me directly, as the priest can't be trusted. Can you believe he took $95,000 of the money?" So a Catholic man's lifelong dream was to meet the Pope. For years and years, he scrimped, scrounged, and planned his lavish trip to Italy. Wanting to look his best for the pontiff, he had a custom-fitted suit tailored to his exact measurements and bought the finest Italian leather boots money could buy. The next morning he awoke before the dawn to make his way to Vatican City to meet the Pope on his morning walk through his crowd of devout followers. He pushed his way to the front of the crowd, wanting to get as close to the Holy Father as possible. The grand doors opened and the Pope emerged, greeting his followers, shaking hands, and offering blessings. The man caught the Pope's eye, and the Pope smiled and started walking towards him. This was it. He was finally going to get to share words with God's representative on earth. Just as he was approaching the man, the Pope noticed a downtrodden beggar lying in the ditch opposite the man. The Pope changed course, made way for the beggar, bent down, and whispered something in the poor man's ear. The beggar nodded, got up, and walked off. The Pope, now on the other side of the crowd, continued on away from the man. The man was devastated. He had missed his only chance to fulfill his ultimate dream. As the crowd dispersed, he noticed the beggar in the distance. A plan emerged in his mind. He made his way up to the beggar and said, "Sir, I would like to offer you a trade. I will give you my suit, my boots, and all of the cash in my wallet in exchange for your rags and tattered shoes." I believe this act of humility is my best chance to finally meet the Pope. The poor man quickly agreed, of course, and the two men traded clothes. The next morning, the man made his way back to the Vatican and proceeded to lie down in the exact spot the beggar was the day before. The grand doors opened once again, and the pontiff emerged to meet his people. As the Pope was walking through the crowd, the man saw that the Pope was heading his way. His plan was going to work. Sure enough, the Pope came over to him, knelt down, and whispered, "I thought I told you yesterday to get the heck out of here."